Peace and love, fam. Peace and love. It's Moreno Bey. I got a special guest on the phone today, Brother Marcus Enoch. That's a brother I've been knowing 30 plus years, and we're going to let y'all in on a personal conversation that we have on a regular basis. This is how we build. I can honestly say that I've seen his growth, he's seen my growth, and we both strive for perfection. We speak on many topics, mainly about the psychology of our people. How did we get this way? Where are we presently, in regards to our mental state, our condition? So the way we see things, for example, when we go out in public, we see it. Like, we're so aware now, like we see the obesity, we see the violence, we see the brothers walking around with the pants sagging, we see the women with the weave jobs. So, I mean, this is something we're going to discuss today, and hopefully y'all find this, helpful. Brother, how you feel about this? How you feel about it?
Yeah, first off, I want to say what's up. And this is just a conversation that, your subscribers, can listen in on. It's just something that we talk about all the time. First off, I want to say that, this is just my opinion and how I feel about certain things,
Yes, sir.
And I think in regards to the mindset of the people, I think that, they're behaving exactly the way they're supposed to be behaving, according to the paradigm or reality or the construct that's been set up. Bobby Hemmett often talks about the social pathology or the behavior of a people. You and I often talk about what keeps the collective consciousness all on the same line of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
What keeps them moving along all on one accord in regards to the way that they think and the way that they do things. And the human mind is similar to a computer. And, a computer has to be programmed. And that comes by way of the media. And I asked you one time, does art imitate life? Or does life imitate art?
Mm-hmm.
Or does life imitate social engineering under the guise of art? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, so people just go along with their daily lives, eating bologna sandwiches, eating frosted flakes, playing basketball, playing video games, going to work, doing what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And they really have no idea if you mention like a construct to them. They have no idea what you're talking about.
I agree with that. We've always struggled, especially in our past. We tried, remember at a point in our lives, we would try not to speak to people with the produce information or present information rather that we've been exposed to people that haven't been exposed to it. You understand where I'm going with it, as far as
Right.
how is degrees and certain information, and how once you become adept, it's certain information that's just not ready for certain people. And we've struggled with that in the past. What do you think that's all about? Trying to get that type of information to people that just don't get it. That's kind of You feel where I'm going with it?
Yeah, it's like peeling back the layers of reality almost. We often talk about, the way we see the world now. Was the world that way when we were kids, when we were younger? Or were we able to see things more clearly now the older we got and the more consciousness and awareness that we got?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about, you can't force a person to see past this, this reality or construct that they're living in.
Mm-hmm.
They can't see past that. I guess that comes with time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. As far back as you can remember, because you and I, we've been through the stages in our lives where we know that once upon a time we were here. But now once we fast forward, we are now in this position of awareness. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, our growth period, like, were we ever like in that position that you can remember what we see now? Or are we looking at it from like a total egotistical perspective.
Okay, see, like when you use the word ego, a lot of people think that means something like being cocky or overconfident. When you say things like egotistical.
Yeah.
But you have another type of thing that's created where a person believes that a certain construct about themselves is the real them, as opposed to the I am or the real self. And it's an identity or the egoic consciousness of a person that's not really them. It just supports the person's mindset and the construct that they live in.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you, but can you give like a more of an example, like a visual example to the audience?
Okay, it's like, how when you imagine a guru or a wise person meditating on a mountaintop, right? We've all seen that, right?
Yes.
Okay, that person really only identifies with the self and nature and God or their higher self. And they don't have to have a certain type of house to make them them. They don't have to have a certain type of vehicle. They're not concerned with having a certain numerical value in their bank account. You know what I'm saying? They're one with nature, and they're one with how they see God or the I am. As opposed to someone feeling like their material possessions or the job that they have, that makes up who they are. Their identity, which is nothing but the ego or the I am.
I got you. That makes sense right there, bro. That makes sense. I like that. That was a good explanation.
Which brings into question something we talked about before. With a lot of people claim to be religious, but are they superstitious?
Man, you got to break that down. You got to break it down.
What is religion and what is being superstitious? A lot of people, in my opinion, are superstitious. They just follow, how do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, in regards to the modern quote unquote religious system, especially here on our land, North America, yeah, I agree with that. How the black church, for example, especially like the superstition thing, because the superstition thing is more of how you think, how you believe. It's not necessarily what's factual, what's tangible. You feel me? For example, black Christians are readily, they'll tell you in a second that, hey, you're going to hell, or hey, I'm going to heaven when I die. Basically judging another human being for their actions when they don't even know anything about the sciences that created all, or what created whatever, it or who or whom or whatever.
Right. Now you mentioned science, and that deals with the layers underneath whatever it is we're talking about, like the science of religion. What is it? What is that talking about? And you mentioned like heaven and hell. How does the average Christian view heaven and hell?
Oh yeah.
In compare and contrast, the lifestyle that they live is really serving the Lord self.
Example. Yeah, and I agree with that. For example, like we spoke about earlier, the average. Now, this is me not attacking black Christians, but I do want to say a part in on this since we're building on this. Black Christians, for example, we spoke about this earlier about the non-discipline. When you're dealing with the religious system of spirituality, it normally deals with some base principles that discipline you to a certain degree so you can follow what it is about that quote unquote religion. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Okay. But the thing that we see that lack thereof is that the modern black Christian in North America, they have no discipline, period. And you and I both know that, I mean, we've read the same book that they read, and we see the principles in the book, right or wrong.
Exactly right.
Right? We see the morals that you're supposed to live by. Now, again, you'll see a stripper leave the strip club and go right to church, right? You'll see the drunk that's laying in the alley go right to church. And the church, again, sort of like what a lot of civic-minded Moors say, that the temple itself doesn't save you, because it's the inner you that saved you. It's your mind that saved you. It's not the building.
But how can a person realize that when they're always told to look outside of themselves?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They're looking for somebody or something to come back and save them,
Mm-hmm.
which is all ridiculous once you provide logic and just think
Mm-hmm.
about something. Let me
Yeah.
ask you a question. What do you think about this?
Go ahead.
Materialism is really, it's just comparing or using symbolism. Okay? Materialism is really God. Like money, sex, drugs, alcohol. And the escape these things provide is really a temporary or pseudo heaven.
Yes.
Or an escape. What are they escaping from?
Mm-hmm.
Their life or the reality that they're living in is really a hell.
Mm-hmm. That's deep.
It's really escapism.
That's deep. Because the God that they're worshiping, again, is the money, the materials, like you just stated.
Right.
So yeah, that was a damn good, example. That was real good. I like that. But yeah, I see it every day, man. You and I both, we converse about this daily, about the psychology of our people, man, and it's like at an all-time low. And people have the nerve to scrutinize Moors in regards to what we present to our people, and us standing on the 5 principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Go ahead.
Once you begin to acknowledge and accept and study more science, you have to do away with the superstitious beliefs. And you have to take responsibility and hold yourself accountable for certain things. And you have to also incorporate what you just said, a certain form of discipline.
Mm-hmm.
And for most of their lives, they've never had to do that.
Mm-hmm. That, you know what? I didn't mean to cut your wisdom, but that reminded me of a sister I spoke to through email. She said something in regards to what you just stated. She basically said, you know what? I just got it. She said, I know why people normally pretty much diss the Moorish information, because in order to deal with the Moorish information, you have to take total accountability for your actions on every level. Like for real, on every level. There's no, being having assistance from this outside entity or this. You have to straighten yourself up in regards to health, politics. I mean, history. You gotta shape that. You gotta teach your children. You gotta educate them on a spiritual level, religious level, just basic education. Basic educational needs, the whole nine. So I really agree with what you just said, man. That reminded me of what the sister said.
Yeah. You know what the irony is?
What's that?
Is that materialism is really, looking at it from a certain perspective, is really living in hell. As I said, like if you worship these things, you serving the lower self. Getting back to nature, as I said in my example before, detaching or being out in nature and looking inward is really the path to heaven and true spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
Not superstitious beliefs or this feel-good doctrine that they preach.
Yeah.
To get to heaven, you have to detach from this construct and kill the ego and recognize the I am or the real self within you.
And that
but,
takes.
You got pharmaceutical companies prescribing pills to escape. To escape to what? The temporary pseudo heaven.
Yes.
Alcohol does the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sex sex on a lower level does the same thing.
Yes, sir.
After you make your point, I want to share an episode of this Twilight Zone.
No, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Okay, Twilight Zone, one of my favorite shows. There was this one episode where this guy, right, he was a bank robber, he was a gangster, and as he was coming out of the bank, the cops showed up. He was having a shootout with them. He killed a couple of them, and as he was trying to jump the fence to get away, he was shot in the back, and he fell on the ground and fell on the other side, and he went to sleep. When he woke up, there was this European guy in a suit looking down at him, smiling. He had a nice suit on, smiling. And the guy that just robbed the bank was looking. He was blinking his eyes slowly, looking around, trying to figure out what was going on. And he was like, where am I? And the guy was just smiling at him. The guy with the suit was smiling down, looking at him. He helped him up. And the guy that robbed the bank, he started thinking. He was like, hold on. He said, I know I got shot. He said, am I dead? And the guy in the suit said, you sure are. So the guy started just asking questions and stuff. He was asking, like, well, what happens next? And the guy in the suit, he said, whatever you want to happen. And the guy that robbed the bank, he was like, anything? And the other guy was like, yeah. So the guy that robbed the bank, the gangster, he started asking for all this material stuff. He started asking for a lot of money. He started asking for a mansion to live in, and he wanted, and the guy in the suit provided all of these things for him. Mm-hmm. So he was in this house. He had all of the finest women, and he liked to gamble. So he wanted to go to a casino. He took the angel took him to a casino, and the gangster kept winning, and he was complaining about winning. Mm-hmm. So the angel, granted his wish, and that upset the gangster. He was like, well, I don't want to win all the time. And then the angel was like, well, I can make you lose sometime. And then that further infuriated the gangster. He was like, well, that's ruining it for me. I don't want to know. So then the guy went back to the house, to the mansion. He got tired of the women. He got tired of the cars that he had. He got tired of all his material possessions to the point where he didn't even want to be around it anymore. So he started complaining to the angel. The gangster told the angel, he said, I didn't think heaven would be like this. I really can't stand this place. And the angel looked at him and said, what makes you think you're in heaven?
Yeah.
So and then the episode went off. Turns out he was in hell.
Yeah.
So if you kind of take that show and compare it to how people live their lives.
With the lower selves.
People that go to church crave material possessions, money, cars, like whatever the media says that you should have, they want that, materialism.
Yes, sir.
But it turns out, in the Twilight Zone episode, the guy was in hell. How could you be in hell if you're given everything you want? If your every wish is granted?
That goes back, man. I love, I love every time you bring up that episode, man. It's very interesting. It makes you really think. That's dealing with that lower self gratification of materials. We spoke about that earlier, about instant gratification. How you don't really appreciate things that's so fast, and how we live in today's society with technology. Everything's fast. Microwave, movies, sex, everything is fast. So you really can't appreciate it. Those things that's coming from that lower vibration when you don't work for it. Because first off, it's coming from a low frequency. That's the first thing. It's coming from a very, very low frequency. And you have to rise above that in order to go to heaven, so to speak. Versus the physical place that so-called Christians say what heaven really is, a physical place. And another thing about that is funny is that they will argue with you. Not only argue with you, but sometimes it can turn into a fist fight.
Well, in my opinion, the reason they get so defensive is because you're attacking the ego. Again, we're talking about the ego, the identity, the egoic consciousness, the ego mind. You're trying to take away their identity, who they are. That's why it's so hard to tell people not black, because they identify with that. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand totally.
And then talk about frequencies, right? Lower frequencies. Why are the people vibrating on such a low frequency? Earlier I asked, does art imitate life, or does life imitate art? Or does life imitate art under the, no, does life imitate social engineering under the guise of art?
Yes.
And then you have to take into consideration the chakra system. And what are chakras? You know, everybody basically knows that chakras are, you know, wheels of consciousness.
Yes, sir.
In the body, not tangible things you can touch, but an easy way to recognize it. I guess you could compare them to the emotions that you have.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, I would say that.
Energy centers.
Yeah, energy wheels.
Energy wheels.
Yes, sir.
Energy in motion, and that's God. Energy in motion. Now, the media plays a big part in keeping people vibrating so low. It's almost like your chakras are tuned by outside stimuli or the media to be. It's like they're calibrated to vibrate or operate on a lower frequency.
Yes, sir. With of course, you know, we something else we always speak on with the social engineering and in regards to how they desensitize information with the music, the foods, how everything is basically artificial. It's not genuine. You know, you and I, we talk about the music a lot. Well, it's not music, but you know where I'm coming from. As far as
you said it's not genuine.
Yeah, it's not.
Again, that goes back to when we're giving the example of the guy sitting in nature. Everything that the construct gives you takes you away from nature and gives you a fake, artificial version of it.
I agree.
Fake heaven.
I agree. Fake heaven, fake hell. I got you. We spoke, you know what? That's another thing we spoke about the other day in regards to, people say heaven is pleasant. Thinking now I'm saying this connotatively. They'll say heaven is like a pleasant place. Now, when you say heaven, connotatively in the physical realm, you may think about sex, because when you vibrate on a low frequency, that's heaven for you. You may think of nice luxury homes and cars. That may be heaven for you. That goes back to the materials, what you talked about earlier. But
it sounds like you're talking about the Twilight Zone again.
Exactly. So it's the opposite. It's really the opposite. It's really the opposite. It's mastering the higher self.
Right.
That's heaven.
The Duke of Tears, I remember him saying, he said that the more credence you give to the physical world, the more bogged down and caveman-like you become. And the more dependent on this physical reality. These people can't live without their iPhones or gadgets or stuff like that. I see, what is the physical world and what makes, I'm not talking about nature, trees and stuff like that. I'm talking about the constructs within this physical world created by the think tanks.
Like cell phones, for example, right?
Well, bigger than that. When we talk about construct, I'm talking about, like, if I say the 1980s, you'll think that you'll go back to a time period in our life when we were children. Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
All of that stuff is a construct that was created by think tanks who got knowledge of all of this stuff.
But everything in nature was still the same.
What was it you said?
You remember, like the other day we spoke about this, but Nothing in nature changed. It's just the construct.
Right. Right. It's the construct within our minds.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it takes us away from nature. Takes us out of nature.
Mm-hmm.
So really, depending on how you're looking at it, you mentioned higher self and lower self. People are in a constant state of serving their lower self. You have to wake up. You have to wake up and detach from that.
I agree with that. Okay, let me ask you this, because this kind of take me back to our growth periods. And I always say that, of course I'm gonna say this, that in my opinion, I never thought that we were bad people, but of course everyone have to mature in their transitioning or their growth periods. So as you look back, how do you see, like, you and I, or yourself, like, how did we grow? The growth period, like, what do you see? The transitioning. How did we transition?
I think we transitioned together in regards to, the peeling back of layers of consciousness, that we began to see things in a certain light, from a certain perspective, in regards to what's real, what's fake, and we would always question things.
Yeah.
All of our lives.
Yeah.
And we weren't biased. We were always open to new things.
Yes, sir.
A problem that I had coming up was I would always ask and question myself and others, which they would get upset at me, which religion was right? What's the correct religion?
Mm-hmm.
And I would use logic and common sense, and I would ask, okay, if I'm living in this particular time period, and I wasn't exposed to what Christians say is the correct version, and I have to do it this way to get into heaven, what would be my fate? Or if I lived in this part of the world, where the majority people within their bubble of reality or their construct is different from ours here, what's their fate? Are they deemed to a fate of burning in hell forever simply because of geographical location or time period?
Man, that's a good question.
So,
yeah,
the common sense and the logic conflicted with what the church or others or the authority figures in our lives were telling us. And I was combating that. And I think that played a big role in it. And we would also read and just be exposed to and open to more information. And you can compare and contrast and use common sense.
Yeah,
I think that.
Go ahead.
I think if a person studies enough, it would lead them to becoming an atheist. If you don't have I guess you could call them esoteric teachings, I guess.
Yeah.
Or learn what the science of all religion is, which really is deemed devil worship. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I got you.
Horror movies, and so your research, you'll come to a dead end, because if you listen to the construct, you will come into certain information that they deem you're not supposed to. It's like dark, or certain information you're not supposed to touch, and it's keeping a lot of so-called Christians are fearful.
Yes.
Of reading certain things or learning new things.
And why do you think that? Because of course I've noticed that over the years too, man, that especially black Christians, quote unquote, they are so afraid to step outside of the box when it comes to viewing certain things, studying certain things, or just trying new things. It can be something as simple as eating habits. Especially like, we in the South, so people in the South have a real huge tendency of eating pork. And I'm not Xing out any other locations around the globe or in our country, but in the South it's like it's heavy. I can even remember when you and I were growing up how we started to transition in our eating habits. I know you remember. exercising. We've always kind of like been on the exercising tip, but we start really taking it seriously as far as our health, eating habits, exercising, the things we watch, because sometimes you can watch certain things and you'll absorb that negative energy. So it's some things you shouldn't watch or listen to because of the energy behind it. You understand where I'm going with it?
Yeah, I know exactly where you're going with it.
Yeah, so that's just me piggybacking off of you, just basically letting you know that, hey, we've come a long way. I can also remember how we went through we went through several stages. We went through the Jordan Maxwell's, Henry Clark's. We went through so much.
Even certain rappers.
Yeah.
Was dropping information. Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah, Wu-Tang.
That's the first time I heard Jordan Maxwell. Above him, Wu-Tang Clan was talking about that guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And, with the Nation of Gods and the Earth's 5%ers, mm-hmm. all that, knowledge that you didn't get really down south. Because, down south was just strictly the church.
Yeah, man, no doubt.
Especially back in the 90s with the East Coast, mm-hmm. hip-hop, that was dealing with knowledge to a certain degree.
See, now you're about to make me get on the East Coast. It's like it's in reverse now. Because you remember when I told you I went up to New York, I was like, it was like a East Coast, it was like the South, but it was on the East Coast in regards to the music, the construct that's being played out everywhere now, how they dress, right. Even the way they spit rhymes.
See, this conversation is coming full circle again because, we got to talk about the media, mm-hmm. and what shapes people's reality, what shapes people's construct. It's the media. People really don't understand, in my opinion, how powerful they are, how powerful a thought is. You have to ask the question, what influences emotions? Mm-hmm. Emotions manifest your thought. Mm-hmm. Your thought manifests your physical reality around you.
Yeah.
So they can instill certain ideas in you, and your thoughts and the energy that comes from you makes it a reality. Mm-hmm. That's why the hood looks a certain way. Mm-hmm. That's why the mindset that people have that live in these certain areas looks a certain way. It's because they're making it a reality.
Yeah.
They're creating this reality and making it real simply from their thoughts. Because our thoughts are formed from our emotions, and our thoughts manifest the words and our actions and our reality.
That's real.
See, the media has everyone like puppets dangling from a string. Or, I'm pretty sure everybody's seen the Wiz.
Yeah.
Remember when they were in that place?
Mm-hmm.
And Richard Pryor was the Wiz, right?
Yes, sir.
And every so often, for example, everybody had on red. Mm-hmm. That's what the construct was. Everyone had red on. But then Richard Pryor would say,
red is dead.
Or red is gold. Red is old. The new color is gold. Mm-hmm. And then everybody would put gold on. Mm-hmm. And they would start dancing around and singing. And then after a while, he would say a new color. Well, it's the same thing that's going on in people's lives. Mm-hmm. In the reality that we think is real. You have to detach from the reality and recognize, the God within.
Yes, sir. I agree with that, man. Another good example. Another good example. Now you know we cannot go through this conversation without talking about today's quote unquote rap music. We right. Gotta hit it. Because we came up in this era, and hey, we were hip hop heads. You feel me? So,
right.
Man, this right here is kind of a touchy subject because we saw it in one of its purest forms, and then we saw it go right out. To whatever they may, try to do in today's, time. So, man, yeah. What you think about this music game as far as the so-called rappers, the producers, everything that's going on with it, man. What you feel about it, man?
Well, right now, I really could care less because that's not a part of my world anymore.
Yes, sir.
You get what I'm saying? And looking back, even when you and I were listening to it actively, I can even see that for what it was and how it wasn't even the most positive thing.
That's right.
And I can see that how that was a construct, how that era, even like the 90s, ushered in the mindset of living a so-called gangster lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember everybody at my high school wearing Dickie outfits because everybody, and we lived in Memphis.
Yeah.
And we were dressing like people in California.
Yeah.
Crips, simply because Snoop was running around with that.
Yeah.
So that was transferring negative energy also. Mm-hmm. But there was some positivity also.
That's my point.
Also, like we said earlier, it led to us doing research in regards to finding out other things. But in regards to how it is now,
it's bad, man.
Yes.
One thing I can say during our era, there were a few brothers and sisters that did at least have a message at least 50% of the time.
Right.
And nowadays, there is no message, positive message. There is no positive message whatsoever. It goes back to what you stated earlier about heaven and hell. These people worship their gods. That's the money, that's the drugs, that's the women, that's the cars. That's their God. That's their heaven. But actually, what is it doing? It's driving them down to hell. For example, like how we speak about Lamar Odom. Break down that Lamar Odom for him, man.
Well, in order to break that down, you got to incorporate what you said earlier in regards to discipline.
Mm-hmm.
I think I said before that everybody, no matter what religion they claim, even if they claim to be an atheist, everyone on this planet is seeking to escape and end pain. And they'd like to place themselves in a position of being in sort of a heaven or a painless state, which is why people, it's escapism, which is why people indulge in drinking alcohol or doing certain drugs. Now, Lamar Odom, what was that old saying? I forgot what it was. An idle mind is the devil's playground.
Yeah.
You remember that old saying?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah. Now, Lamar Odom used to play ball all the time, and that was what he focused on. But when he got cut from the NBA or whatever happened in regards to that, he had a lot of time on his hands.
Yeah.
So what did he spend his time doing?
Partying, having sex,
partying, drinking. How do you have so much sex and drink so much damn near do it to death?
Yeah.
How do you have that much pleasure?
Yeah, that's true. That kind of go back to what Cat Williams was talking about. What was he talking about? The difference between rich people and poor people that do drugs.
Yeah.
And I can't remember exactly, but it was kind of funny because he was basically breaking down how poor people, they can only spend so much, for their drugs.
This, though. Listen. Add this to it. That could be a form of forced discipline.
Yeah.
Right? A broke person. See, they don't have the discipline to not drink as much as Cat Williams had the option to drink as much. They just didn't have the money.
Yeah.
So Cat Williams said, a broke person drinks till they get to $20.
Yeah.
1, 2, 5, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, I'm done.
Yeah.
Cat Williams said, what about me? I'm a millionaire. He said, so I just keep drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking. And so without some form of discipline, he don't know how to stop.
That's right.
Just like Lamar Odom.
Yeah.
And their attempt to escape from something. Their attempt to escape from something, they self-destruct.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Trying to have a taste of this pseudo heaven.
Yes, sir.
Now, a perfect example of someone who has the money and who's lived both sides of the coin.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Simmons.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at Russell Simmons, and he talks about his earlier days, how he used to experiment with alcohol, so many different drugs. If you compare and contrast that to how he's living now, he's a vegetarian.
Yes, sir.
He meditates in the morning.
Yeah.
He's doing a lot of spiritual stuff.
Yoga. Yes, sir.
So that's two paths to heaven, right?
Mm-hmm.
The yogi, or the guru that meditates always talks about nirvana.
Yeah.
Or achieving a state of peace and oneness with everything, with nature.
Mm-hmm.
That's a form of heaven.
Yes, sir.
In my opinion,
it
is like the person trying to achieve heaven the other way.
Yes, sir. So let me ask you this. Because that's a great example. If the person that's operating on a lower vibration and frequency think that's heaven, and then you got somebody such as ourselves that would think that the higher self is heaven, what is the difference between the two? Because earlier I think we spoke about different bubbles of reality on how people perceive things. You know how we create our own realities, what's the real truth, what's not the real truth. So what is it?
It's actually the battle between God and Satan, or the internal struggle between the higher self and the lower self. Again, like I said, detaching from the ego, which was representative in cartoons we used to watch. Remember, we used to watch the cartoons, and they would have the angel on the one side of the shoulder, and they would have the devil on the other side. The devil was symbolic to the lower self, and the angel was symbolic to the higher self.
Yes, sir.
And the devil will try to convince you to do certain things, appeal to your lower self.
Which is right. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that very clearly. You know, the so-called devil would be on one shoulder trying to get you to operate on that waist down, which are the lower chakras. And that angel, so to speak, was representing that purity, that white, was mainly on that right shoulder, trying to get you to do the waist and up, which is the higher self of the chakras, reaching that Christ degree. So, I get that. That's science. Like, that's science.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I don't know if you can teach that or not. You know, were we taught that, or is that just something we developed within ourselves over time? Because I don't know if you can actually teach that to someone.
I think a lot of this stuff is already inside of us, and we're in a process of awakening, and we may be remembering certain things. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that, man.
That's how I feel about it.
Well, let me ask you this. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just that our emotions and chakras are in a constant sway. It's a constant battle between the higher self and the lower self. And the lower self is like boredom, frustration, doubt, worry, disappointment, blame, discouragement, revenge, anger, hatred, rage, jealousy, insecurity, guilt, fear, grief, depression. Now, all of these emotions, right?
Yes, sir.
Doesn't the media fine-tune people's emotions to be on these frequencies?
All the time. 100%.
Rap music, for example, creates an insecurity or makes you jealous. All they're doing is telling you that they're better than you.
That's what.
By saying what they have.
We speak about that all the time. Like, how can you listen to somebody that say this is what I do. This is what I got. And 99% of the people that listen to it don't have these things, but they worship the person that's preaching about what they have. It's sort of like the church thing as well. You know, I always speak about how the preachers, they walk around and, you know, especially like the high dollar preachers, how they walk around and tell you can have money if you just put God in your life, but they never give you the actual plan, the business plan on how to succeed like them. You understand? But the same people that's following them, I mean, it's broke as hell.
Yep. That's because they're using the science of the knowledge of emotions and how to move people.
Yeah.
Like a pimp.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What makes you know the psychology of a people. That's all they do. They're using the science of this stuff to manipulate people and feed off of their energy vampires.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
I agree with that. So let me ask you this.
What are you going to say?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll ask you. Go ahead. You said they're giving off certain energy.
Yeah. Right. The media or authority figures or the construct, the think tanks of the construct put programs in place in order to keep the people vibing on a certain frequency. You know, to really create a certain reality. The people are creating it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Based off of the thoughts or the ideals placed inside of them. They're making it real.
Man, I agree with that.
It's like creating a nightmare. This matrix we in.
Mm-hmm.
It can change overnight. Think about it. What changed the 70s to the 80s, and the 80s to the 90s, and the 90s to the 2000s, and so on and so forth?
The construct.
Who's the real life whiz?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the real life whiz that's doing that? The heads of these corporations.
I got you. Bell bottoms and afros. Then you got jerry curls and leather jackets. Then you got we'll say cornrows.
Then you got Negro people.
Yeah.
You got colored people.
Yeah.
African American people. Mm-hmm. Black people.
Mm-hmm. I spoke. You know what?
Go ahead.
That's funny you say that, because I was just I thought about that earlier. I was talking to my dad one day, and I was over his house, and I was asking him about his birth certificate. That's just, just to quickly go into this. You said color, and I was asking him about his birth certificate. I was like, "Hey, Pops," I was like, "Have you ever wondered how did they identify you on your birth certificate?" And he was like, "I think it was Negro," and I was like, "Go get it." And when he got it, it said color. And my dad was born and I believe the early 50s, 53. You feel me? So if he was born in 53 and they identified him as colored then, right now, Gregorian calendar is 2017. Now they call us, African Americans? Blacks? Well, mainly it's blacks. Actually, it went back. If you think about it, actually what happened is, and this is not a good thing, but actually those people that call themselves black graduated to African American, and then they backtracked to black again. Am I right or wrong?
You're exactly right.
So what I'm saying is, from the 50s, he went from colored to Negro to black, I believe, and then to African American, back to black. And this is the main issue we've been having with our people, trying to discuss with them that they are not black people, a description. I don't know how many times we can say, you and I, we've had our conversation with close family members, which I'm pretty sure everyone that's nationalized or have any type of awareness in regards to Moorish information have spoken to family members about this, and they just don't get it. That's what kind of prompted me to do the video I did about let the dead lay with the dead. Because I thought about what Brother Bobby Hemmett would say. The struggle in trying to uplift dead souls, basically.
Right. Right. Again, I mean, that makes you wonder, when everyone was so-called conscious in the 70s, were they really conscious, or were they just parrots repeating information?
Yeah.
Like you said before, I don't know if you said that, can you teach this?
Mm-hmm.
Or does a certain amount of time has to pass? You know,
for you to remember.
In order for you to remember and wake up and see this construct for what it is. Some people say that schizophrenia is like the pathway that leads to a higher form of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
But
and
who knows?
We know that to be true. Because all of our lives we've been labeled as whatever, right? So
crazy.
Yeah, crazy. We've always been labeled as crazy. And what's funny? Say it again.
Sanity, in my opinion, sanity is defined by the construct that you live in.
Mm-hmm.
And insanity is anything
that's outside
of the boundaries of the societal construct.
Okay, for example, okay, I got you. For example, like how you and I, we'll see the young guys. Well, hell, actually, it ain't even the young guys no more. It's even the older guys that wear the skinny leg jeans. The construct that they paint now with the guys. Like what they wear. That's a construct, right? That's their reality. So actually, in their world, that's being sane because everybody is doing it, and because you and I don't do it, we would be considered outsiders or people that's what would I say, rebellious to that way of living a life.
I don't think we would be looked at as insane. I think we would be looked at as older.
Well, yeah.
Because we're not in that age range anymore where what we do or our style, what was in when we were younger isn't fashionable anymore, or that's not the thing to do. That is past because the weed said that skinny jeans. the weed said skinny jeans is the thing that not baggy clothes.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing, really.
I got you. That makes sense though. But check this out. I got a question. You know how we really value nature and the importance of the sun and just the real true colors that you absorb when you go outside in nature, just everything about it. Why is it that you'll have our brothers and sisters, they don't really get it, but to a certain degree they do get it. I think it's like they pick and choose when it's beneficial for them. Now, let me give you an example. Now, you and I both know the importance of nature. For example, you know how naturally how the sun cures depression. Think about it. When it's gloomy outside, everyone is in the house. A lot of times, that's when a lot of children are made too, because no one's outside, it's raining. But it's like when the sun comes out, the trees are blooming. I mean, the weather is nice. Everyone is outside. Everybody is happy. But for some reason, people don't really utilize that to the full potential of what it really is supposed to be. They utilize it for different things. For example, like washing cars, women wearing booty shorts, guys selling drugs on the corner. How do you feel about that? Like, how do you look at it? Do you get what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. I mean, people only go as far as the authority figure tells them to go. So they're not going to see the importance of the sun beyond it serving the lower self. Again, like what you mentioned. All that stuff leads to their head serves a purpose.
Yes, sir.
It's there for a reason. But people don't look at hair beyond a cosmetic, fashionable perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is really looked at in depth like that. Mm-hmm. And if you do question certain things, if you broke down the science of hair to someone, they will look at you like you're crazy.
Oh man, you know.
Because you're not supposed to do that. It's just hair. You're not supposed to take anything too serious. Mm-hmm. Not even God. Mm-hmm. Because they have something that they call a fanatic, religious fanatic.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I know quite a few of them.
like hair. I've heard women say they're going natural, but I've never heard a woman say that they're going unnatural first. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you can kind of make people think about certain things once you present things in a new way that kind of conflicts with the construct. Like for example, I'll say, man, first I'll say, why are Mexicans trying to cross the border to come into America? I would say that, right? Mm-hmm. And a person would give the generic response, well, it's better opportunities here. That's why they want to come to America. And then I'll ask them, why are Mexicans, why are they leaving America in order to come to the United States? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they'll look at me.
Yes. Because they don't realize, I see exactly where you're going with it. They only know what the authority figure has instructed for them to know. I got it. I got you. Trust me, I'm with you.
You feel like you can play with things to make, you can kind of shock people into reality, kind of. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like with the natural thing. You can just walk up to a woman and say, when did you decide to go unnatural? Mm-hmm. That's technically a true question, right?
Yes,
because
sir.
You're born natural, and you have to do something to make your head like that. Okay, if you go natural, the opposite of natural is unnatural.
Yes, sir.
So you have to go unnatural. Mm-hmm. But nobody says that.
Yes, sir. I agree with that.
Because, in my opinion, the think tanks don't want you to think what you're doing is unnatural. Mm-hmm. That sounds bad, don't it?
Yes, sir.
Don't it sound bad?
Yes, sir.
I'm going unnatural. How can you go natural, but you don't hear anybody say I'm going unnatural?
Mm-hmm. I got you. I'm with you.
So, the power of words is real. And I think that most people speak in a language where it's kind of generic knee-jerk talk. Mm-hmm. It's generic knee-jerk talk, meaning we communicate with each other, but it's just phrases that we say to one another over and over again, which doesn't force people to think about certain things. People say things without thinking about what they're saying.
Yes, sir. I agree with that. I totally agree with that, man.
I think the first step towards change comes with thinking, not running on autopilot, not just blindly responding to the programs that are put in place for people to follow.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what I've noticed? When you force people to think, it's a few things that they normally do. Either they get frustrated in the midst of thinking, or they become embodied with fear for thinking because they feel like they may be ridiculed or scrutinized or punished for thinking. So that's another construct as well. Being punished for thinking or being scrutinized for thinking, because you and I both know, once you think outside of that box, there's certain penalties and certain things that come along with thinking outside of the box, even though it may be true.
Right.
feel me? So,
well, coming up, we're always taught not to question authority.
mm-hmm.
In school, that was highly frowned upon. Questioning authority. They want you to just memorize what you're told and regurgitate it back.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to school together. We know how that was.
Oh man, that kind of remind me of when we would stand up and do the Pledge of Allegiance. How
without see, what does that mean?
That's what I'm getting to, because if you think about it, we like 5, 6, 7 years old, and you're giving this speech to children that's very complex. Think about it. You got children that's saying, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation. What does that mean to a 5-year-old?
They're just listening to sounds and they're repeating it back. I can remember as a child, a lot of kids used to think, like when they say the ABC, elemental P, like they would say that like it was just one word.
Yep.
They wouldn't say LMNOP. They would say elemental.
We used to say that.
They just regurgitating stuff back.
Mm-hmm.
And we do it as adults.
I agree with that. Without having any ideas of what's being said. And don't care. I
can remember Bobby Hemming saying, why would anyone care about trying to unveil or understand deeper knowledge when that doesn't help with the survival program that's running? In other words, how is it going to help me get more stuff?
Mm-hmm.
How is it going to help me get more money?
Mm-hmm.
No matter whether you're broke or you rich, everybody still has the mindset of how can I keep the so-called money that I have, or how can I get more of it?
Really?
How is knowing about the spiritual aspect or the science of religion or what a construct is, how is it going to help me survive in a construct that's based off of simply, surviving?
Oh man, I'm with you 100%. I
So
got
that's
you.
another reason they don't value it or see it as important to know.
You know what? I get that a lot. A lot of people email me, and dealing with more science. One of the first things is mainly the materialistic Moors, but I get a lot of emails. People, the first thing they'll ask me, what are the benefits? Because they're trying to figure out how is it going to benefit them, which is understandable. Living in this physical realm, I get that. I really get that. But I get that so much. Like, what are the benefits? Will I still be able to do this? Can I do this? And I always go back to the basics. How we spoke about earlier about knowing thyself. At the end of the day, all that stuff is only an illusion anyway. It's an illusion.
Right.
Especially with the so-called money thing. When you're dealing with so-called money, because your mind really has to be to a certain degree of responsibility when you're dealing with quote-unquote money. So if your mind is not ready to receive certain amounts, you won't make it anyway, quote-unquote. You won't do good with it.
You're going to do like Lamar Odom did.
You'll blow it. You're going to blow it. You're going to blow it and your life. So I tell people all the time, it's not about what you make, it's about what you spend. And we as a people, we have this horrible habit of spending on what you said, the construct, the materials, things we don't need. We are so impressed about everything we don't need, but we always focus on what we want. And that's that lower gratification. And the focus should be on the needs. And those are simple things.
Right, but you can't sell that, really.
Yeah.
The whole system that's in place is based off of giving you things that you don't need.
Yeah.
again, appealing to the lower self. You mentioned illusion. What was the word they used? Maya, I believe, to describe this world that we live in. Maya, this illusion. See, once you start to detach from it, and you start to see past this reality for what it actually is, that's when the label and the things like that starts happening. Like maybe getting labeled as crazy. A good example of that would be the Joker character from DC Comics.
Yes, sir.
Now, a lot of people may not know, if you don't read the comics, that the Joker is actually conscious.
Yes, sir.
He can actually see past what they call the fourth wall. And the fourth wall is, think of like a movie set. The fourth wall, those houses, they don't have a fourth wall. And the fourth wall is basically the reality of the construct. The Joker character can see the readers. He's aware, he's conscious of the readers. But in the DC world, Batman and everybody who interacts with the Joker, they're not aware of the comic book reader. The Joker has peeled back the layers of reality and has achieved a state of consciousness where he can see past the fourth wall. In other words, he can see us. So that's why he's seen as crazy. If he makes a comment to the reader, the average person in that world is not aware of the reader. So they look at the Joker as insane. So it's kind of similar to us. If a person listens to us talk and they hear us talking about constructs and reality, we would probably be viewed like the Joker's view.
Yes, sir.
They're not aware of the construct. They just living their life, going on about their day lives, getting this job, going to school, get this job, so I can get this stuff and save money, retire, and die.
That sort of reminds me. Go ahead.
Well, without actually taking into consideration what we're really supposed to be doing in regards to real spirituality and the science of religion on this planet.
That sort of remind me of the example you always give about the sitcom show Family Matters, like the cameras and the people on the set.
Right.
Yeah, in regards to that.
Yeah, that would be similar to Steve Urkel. If he was talking to the guys on the set, and he was like, "Wait a minute, who are those people in the audience?" And they were like, "What are you talking about, Steve? The camera, what's that?" Like he's acknowledging, like if the Urkel character, or any character in a movie or a TV show became aware of the viewing audience, or like Jim Carrey in the Truman Show, or Bugs Bunny one time. Remember one time, I think there was a cartoon where Daffy Duck became aware, but like Bugs Bunny kept erasing him and he was drawing stuff.
I remember that.
Bugs Bunny was drawing animals over his head and they were falling. He was making Daffy Duck's life a living hell.
I remember that, yeah.
So basically Bugs Bunny was being portrayed as the construct or the think tank, the creator of the reality of the world that Daffy Duck was living in. It's the same thing. So really, in essence, people need to really turn the TV off, turn the radio off, and start to read these books that they claim to read when they go to church. Read and study them. Study all these things, and try to better yourself, better your own life.
I agree with that.
And that's in regards to mentally, physically, spiritually, because a person can. I remember Manly P. Hall said that vanity can be a good thing. A person, a man or a woman, can physically get in shape, look good, all in the name of vanity. But that doesn't last. It's temporary. eventually, if you have an exercise routine, you're going to have to eventually incorporate some type of discipline in it and do it in order to improve your health and other reasons, not just for vanity's sake.
Yeah, looking good.
Not just to look good.
Yeah, just to look good. You're right about that. Because a lot of these sports athletes are in horrible health conditions. You know, in regards to what they eat, the supplements that they take, whether it be drugs. Man, a lot of these guys on more drugs than the guys that's on the streets. You know, but if you look at them physically, they look good. Their bodies look good. They look like machines. You understand?
Right.
But if they were to undergo EKG, it may come out horribly.
Right. Yeah. Again, I like that. That goes back to ego. If you're doing it for anything else, the whole key is to kill the ego.
Mm-hmm.
You got to kill the ego and detach from the matrix, detach from Maya, detach from the illusion.
Mm-hmm. I agree, bro. Man, I agree.
I think a lot of the stuff that we're talking about, the rapper Cannabis raps about that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he set up a battle, and I think that's what he did. I think he lost on purpose and killed the ego,
mm-hmm.
killed the identity of this super battle rapper.
Mm-hmm. You remember I spoke about that years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The movie with Andre 3000 and Ray Liotta deals with this, where he killed the ego in the end.
Yes, sir.
Another movie with Tom Cruise. I forgot the name of it, but he had a lucid dream, and he had to kill himself in order to wake up from the dream. He had to die. That deals with the phoenix rising from the ashes.
No doubt.
So it's a lot of all of this stuff is dealing with like symbolism. It's hidden in movies and stuff. All of this stuff is talking about the science of religion and the battle and the internal struggle between the higher self and the lower self.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. I agree with that totally. What about let me ask you this, what is the importance? Now, you and I both know, but we just, for the sake of this video, for the viewers.
Hold on. That movie is called Vanilla Sky with Tom Cruise.
Vanilla Sky, okay.
By the way.
Vanilla Sky.
That's just going to throw that there, but go ahead.
Okay, no problem. Like I said, you and I both know the importance of, exercise, eating. Would you like to share, something to the viewers in regards to, just keeping your body up, keeping yourself healthy spiritually, the foods that you intake, or just a discipline on what it takes to succeed in the realms of exercise and, foods and, not smoking cigarettes and, stuff of that nature, because a lot of these things, take a toll on our bodies over time. And I see a lot of older people, what they'll say is, well, I'm just getting old. Instead of dealing with the main true source of what it is them, they always point the finger mainly and say, well, I'm just getting old. Like that's something that come with age when they could have, taken care of their bodies all along. Now, this could be dealing with drugs, food, or just simply not exercising or getting enough vitamin D from the sun or, things of that nature. What you got to say about any of that?
Well, in regards to what you just said about whoever says I'm just getting old, again, that goes back to looking outside of yourself. In this case, like a devil the devil made me do it. They don't ever hold themselves accountable for the decisions that they make or the lifestyle that they may have led caused this to happen, this disease to form. I think a person should have more of a preventive mindset, not reacting to certain things that happen due to a bad lifestyle. Try to think ahead and try to develop and live the best life that we can. And try and develop not only the physical, but also the mental and the spiritual. I know that we work, a lot of us work, we really don't have time, but we do have more time than we realize if you would cut the TV off.
That's true.
And try and cut out all this other stuff that you devote your time and energy to.
That's true.
You wouldn't know what the latest trend was if you didn't listen to the radio or the TV to tell you what it was.
Man, that's so true. That's true.
They let you know that it's not real.
That's true.
The only thing that's real is what's flowing through your veins. And all information that you think that you need to know or that you would ever want to know is already inside of you. You just got to remember it. And a lot of the food that we eat, I think, especially this GMO stuff, is designed to keep you in a state of not remembering.
I agree.
That energy, that kundalini will never rise inside of you. If you're just focused on distractions and looking at things that keep you in a state of fear, like the news.
I'm glad you said that. That kind of make me think back to all of this Donald Trump madness that people continuously speak about. A lot of it I don't even know about. The reason is because I don't even watch the news. Understand? And how is that negativity gonna help me? Especially with somebody like me that understands what law is and the obligation of the public servant. So I don't even, I hear people speaking about it, but I have no idea what's going on. Every now and then I'll listen to certain things just to see, just to kind of see, because we are at war to a certain degree. So every now and then, but I don't feed into it, like the average person, on any level. But that just, I just wanted to just bring that out there, how people been feeding on this Donald Trump thing, and that's a form of fear. That's fear.
Right. I actually talked to a guy who brought up ISIS. He had a fearful look in on his face in regards to ISIS.
Never seen
ISIS,
yeah.
Supposedly, so-called ISIS is over 9,000 miles away from us. What in the hell does ISIS have to do with this guy?
Yes, sir.
Who works in a warehouse every day, goes to work, comes home. Why is he talking about ISIS? It's because that thought was put in his mind, and he's manifesting a fear. Just like every thought, for the most part, that people think, collectively, it has power. Collectively, negative energy. Collectively, these negative thoughts create a negative reality. That's what's so powerful about it.
Yes, sir.
If everyone came together collectively with positive energy, that could make a change. The physical reality that would manifest from positivity, love. What number would you at least say?
With the 5 principles?
No,
love instead of hate. Love instead of hate. Yeah, no doubt.
Now, take those 2 words, love. That's the highest frequency.
Yes, sir.
Hate. That's the lowest frequency.
And
now, think about everything in the media. Think about
course, it's hate. And another thing with the hate thing, it takes so much more energy to hate. You understand what I'm saying? It takes a hell of a lot more energy to hate someone or hate something, you know. And in
regards to health, you were talking about health. These emotions manifest in your body, depending on how you feel.
Yes, sir.
It can have an effect on your body in regards to like health, anger, hate, envy. That can cause heart attack, ulcers, strokes.
I agree with that.
All from an emotion.
And you know how I know that to be true? I didn't mean to cut your wisdom, but you know how I know it to be true is because when you get afraid, it's like your body cringes and your pH balance, it becomes unbalanced, which in turn make you acidic. And that it creates a sickly type of environment where sickness can thrive. You understand? For example, have you ever been in a state where you were afraid of something, maybe as a child, and you can just feel how your body has just broken down the molecules? You can feel it. You can feel something like in your stomach. You can feel it all over. So your body is reacting to that emotion that was placed there. So I totally understand what you're saying.
Now, if everybody knows, now this is a fact, if everyone knows that stress is an emotion, and stress and anger and hatred and all these low vibration emotions can manifest as sickness in the body through like everything I just said, everybody knows that. Then also the opposite must be true. So high frequency emotion has the ability to heal others and the body. That has to be true also, right?
Yes, sir. Such as things like that can enter your ears, like binaural beats, classical music. It's certain things that heal, certain things that enter your eyes visually, like colors, natural colors that'll heal you. People don't realize this.
Right. But see, that's bad business in this paradigm we live in and this construct we live in for the pharmaceutical companies.
Yes, sir.
Can you scientifically break down a placebo pill and how it sometimes heals someone? Like, how is it if someone takes a water pill, they're healed sometimes simply from them believing this pill works?
Yes, sir.
So what's the science behind that? Is there something deeper in regards to that and the power that lies within us?
That goes back to the inner you. That goes back to the inner you. And I totally agree with that. Because you know what? You know how I know that to be true? Because look at the automatons out here. They believe certain things within their own realities. And it worked for them. Even though they live very destructive lives to a certain degree. If you feel where I'm going with it.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, they really believe that a guy is sitting in the clouds. Like, they really believe these things. And for some reason, to a certain degree, it works for them.
Yeah, I think it's their comfort zone.
Yeah.
It's their comfort. It's how they keep their sanity.
Yeah.
Because if you pull the veil up, or you snatch the rug or the foundation of their belief system from underneath them, what do they have? So that's why they fight you so hard whenever they feel like you're trying to take that away from them. Who are you or who are we to take that away from them? Even though there may be some little voice inside their mind that's thinking like, damn, that does make sense, but I'm not gonna listen anymore.
I agree.
What's funny?
Go ahead.
You ever tried to tell somebody that, as we become more conscious in regards to health, we may tell someone about there may be something in that other than beef. There may be feces in it. There may be something else grinds up in it, and the person will put their hands in their ears. They don't want to hear it, and they'll keep eating. Has it ever happened to you?
Oh man, so many times I can't count.
Okay, well let me ask this question: if a person, and they told me, I don't want to know if there's something in it, I don't want to know. But what if you let them eat their burger or whatever, and I tell them, hey, you know, after they finish, and I tell them, hey, you know that I saw the waitress spit in your burger, but I didn't tell you before you ate it. They would say, why in the hell did I tell them? Why would they want to know of a waitress spitting in their burger, but they wouldn't want to know other things that may be in the burger? Why are they opposed to knowing something negative about whatever they eat in one scenario, and they would rather know in the other scenario?
Good question.
What I'm saying?
Good question. No, I got exactly what you're saying. That's a very good question. I've experienced a situation like that many times, man. You know, many times. And again, that just goes back to the psychology of our people of not wanting to deal with the truth, because the truth is so stern. You know, that discipline is not there to handle the truth. Once you are disciplined, you can back away from what it really is. And they don't have that willpower. You understand? They don't have that willpower.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's willpower.
With knowledge of things, that's the kryptonite to fear. Fear disappears once you have a certain knowledge. In order to exploit and manipulate people, you have to keep them in darkness.
Yes, sir.
And you have to be vague, like the concept of God or the concept of heaven and hell is vague. It's a mystery. It's a mystery God. You're not allowed to get into the science of it, because the power structure has associated the science of this religion or certain things that are spiritual with devil worship. Or the number 13, the power of the 13, that's been associated with negativity.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We talked about that the other day.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And you know, it's something, you know what? It's something is, you know, people
be afraid of.
Say it again?
I said just be afraid of it.
Yeah, be afraid of it. Like we use numbers every single day, and something as simple as numbers, people don't even see the significance as far as like numerology and astrology, things of that nature. People don't see the significance in it at all, and they just go by what's told. I even been dabbling in, you know, numerology and, you know, just, you know, the importance of numbers and what it means. You know, I dabble in everything.
That would be devil worship, though.
Yeah, I know.
But I can listen to a rap song that's having all this type of perverted sex, and that has nothing to do with the devil, though. In their mind.
There you go. Again, that goes back to not dealing with the truth, because the discipline is not there, and they serving that lower self highly.
Yeah. Yeah, but they use fear to keep you away from everything. Like 13, Friday the 13th movies.
Yeah.
Or even like Lucid Dreams. Freddy Krueger. Scared of that.
You're right about that. You know, we grew up in that era. And that's what's so funny. They put this stuff out in the mainstream for the masses to be afraid of it. You got some guy with a hockey mask that's going around committing mass murders, and they entitled the movie Friday, which is the holy day for all Muslims across the world. And then and check this out. Then they took the number 13 and perverted it.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
You got a guy that's committing mass murders on the holy day and then perverted the number 13.
That's really sorcery. That's really magic.
Yes,
the power of words, the power of, or the knowledge of how to manipulate the energy centers or chakras or the wheels of consciousness in the people to have them on a certain frequency. Mm-hmm. That's a science. Mm-hmm. That's a magic. That's a knowledge, you know?
Yes, sir.
But when you use words like that, people shut down. They don't think it's real.
They don't shut. You're right. You're right about that. I agree with that. That goes back to, let's get back on the Freddy Krueger movie. How would you break that down in regards to like lucid dreams and dreams being the real world, or is the physical realm the real world, or how would you say that series, what did it do to the people, and what was that movie all about?
Well, you know how we always say you have to go within, the I am, as opposed to sticking to this construct and being totally confined to this physical reality that we're in now.
Yes, sir.
I think that dreams or lucid dreams may be the pathway or the doorway to finding out a lot of things that may be lying dormant inside of you. Mm-hmm. Lucid dreams just means that you're conscious and you're aware while you're dreaming and you're in total control. Yes, and I think that's a powerful thing. Mm-hmm. To be able to do that. Who knows what you could access? Mm-hmm. I remember in the movie, what's that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio? That has to do with dreams.
Oh,
Inception.
Yeah, Inception.
I remember there was a scene in Inception where Leonardo asked, he said, why do these people always come here to go to sleep? There was like 10 people hooked up all together, and they was laying down. And the guy answered him. He said that they don't come here to go to sleep. He said they come here to wake up. So that's weird. Like, why would they say that?
That's real.
Is he placing some sort of importance on the dream world or the astral world? What lies in the astral world? What's the power in that?
That's funny you brought that up. Let me read that right quick. That's funny you brought that up.
Let me end it on this.
Go ahead.
So if the astral may be important, then you kind of told to stay away from it because nighttime horror movies take place during the nighttime.
Yep.
Freddy Krueger really deals with lucid dreams because in the astral world, because they fall asleep. And that's where Freddy is, in the dream world.
Yes, sir.
So that kind of instilled in a whole generation of people to think that about lucid dreams. So again, our thoughts, we create our own reality. So you really make that manifest based off of the media, a movie. They tell you how to look at it and how to think of it. So that's what you make manifest. You make it real.
And I totally
create your own nightmare.
And I totally agree with that, man. That's like as real as it get, man. That's as real as it get.
You were gonna read something.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to read. It was funny that you brought up Inception, and I got it. Like right now, I'm showing it in the screen. You know, the actual DVD of it. I'm showing the case and everything on the screen as we speak. And I just wanted to read the back to the people real quick for those that haven't seen the movie. It says, acclaimed filmmaker Christopher Nolan directs an international cast in this sci-fi actioner that travels around the globe into the world of dreams. Dom Cobb, that's Leonardo DiCaprio, is the best there is at an extraction, stealing valuable secrets inside the subconscious during the mind's vulnerable dream state. His skill has made him a coveted player in industrial espionage, but has also made him a fugitive and cost him dearly. Now he may get a chance if he can do the impossible. Inception, planning an idea rather than stealing one. If they succeed, Cobb and his team could pull off the perfect crime, but no planning or expertise can prepare them for a dangerous enemy who seems to predict their every move, an enemy only Cobb could have seen coming. And I notice where it says it's a sci-fi.
Yeah. See? Science fiction.
Sci-fi. And why? How does that resonate with the people on a mass level? Sci-fi.
They put it in the category of it's not being real. Fantasy is it's not important.
Again, that's what you call the think tanks that's painting the picture for the mass. Majority.
Right. Now you said think tank, and in what you read, they said implant ideas.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they were doing. They were going into the dream and implanting ideas in the subconscious of a people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting. That's interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, they give you fake history. See, they put real stuff in science fiction and fantasy, and then at the same time, they'll turn around and give you a movie that's supposed to be based off of history, and it's totally based off a false construct.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like roots and like slaves and coming over here from Africa, packed like sardines on a ship, is taught like reality.
Yes, sir.
They don't talk about Moors being indigenous over here and all over the planet, really.
Yes, sir.
So that's an example of them creating a paradigm or them putting the false construct, painting it as truth, and them talking about certain occult, esoteric type of things, like metaphysical type of stuff, under the category of sci-fi.
Yes, sir.
And fantasy.
And it's actually reality.
Yep.
It's actually reality. The dream
but
world.
Again, a reality really, it is a reality. But a reality also is a collective consciousness together making it real.
Yeah.
Like black people.
That's a reality for certain people. Yeah, I see where you're going with.
Like Black History Month.
Yeah.
The slaves, they say they speak it into existence. So even though it may not have happened, enough people believe it.
So that's what make it true.
So, right.
Yeah, that's what
I remember, like, even in Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, every so often people had to say, I believe in fairies, I think. I believe in fairies. And their belief makes it real. Even if it's fake.
Yeah.
That's me, right?
Yeah, that's real. That's real. Sort of like Santa Claus, Easter Bunny.
Yep.
Pagan holidays. Yeah, I got exactly what you're saying. I get it.
Look, I just looked up Tinkerbell. It says the Tinkerbell effect is an American English expression describing things that are thought to exist only because people believe in them. See, that's what I'm talking about. It's called the Tinkerbell effect. So, it's the same thing. See, they know the power or the science behind thought and emotion, how emotion manifests thought, and thought manifests the reality, and how people collectively create a reality, good or bad, based off of what's instilled inside of them. So it's a science. That's why rappers rap about what they rap about. That's why they put out slave movies. That's why they pump sex so much on a low level. That's why.
Man, that's powerful right there. That's a powerful science.
The Tinkerbell effect.
Yeah, that's powerful. It's like the thing I can respect about Europeans collectively, how they utilize their collective thoughts and make it as one. I mean, not for evil purposes. Just in business, even in military. Just how they do things collectively. Um, the strategies. For example, like the King Alfred plan. People don't realize that the King Alfred plan is involved with strategic, mathematical, scientific data. They study the human brain to figure out, okay, if they do this, this is what we're going to do. Or if we do this, this is what they're going to do. They've mastered that strategy and they implement it on the people to control.
Right.
It doesn't take a million people to control a million people. Actually, it takes a hell of a lot less. Once you do the numbers, for example, in the King Alfred plan, it speaks about how they know that the minority can basically take over any city in North America. They know this, but with the strategic plans that they will implement, they know that they can gain it right back. Okay, and those plans are dealing with statistical, mathematical procedures, science, and so on. So the science is real, people. Yeah, the science, the mathematics is real. And you and I, we talked about that all the time, like in school, how the only thing that was really real was like the mathematics. And I guess maybe a little bit of the science, but when we were taught science, they didn't tell us the importance of like the planets. You remember we spoke about that one time about when we learned about the planets, we didn't really give a damn because we didn't know the importance of it. We didn't know the energy that was given off certain planets. But we didn't understand any of it. It was just so vague.
Right. That goes back to that. See, stuff like that is given under the category of science fiction again. Fantasy, science fiction. Because you can't talk about a planet and energy. It wouldn't even make sense if you present that to the average person. It's not real to them because the authority figures made sure, because they didn't want you to view it and think it was important. Because that's where the real knowledge lies. The science of masonry. And what masonry really is. All that is hidden in plain sight in the architecture of buildings and within these movies like that we've been talking about. Because again, it's a science. It's knowledge.
It is.
On how to manipulate and control people.
It is. It really is.
You can control a million people if they have a certain belief system. that you constructed. You know their strengths and their weaknesses, what they will and what they won't do.
Agreed. Powerful, bro. That's real, man. Before we cut out, man, is anything else, man, you want to relate to the people? Anything else you can think of, man? Let them know what's up, man, because I know they really enjoying this, man, but we're going to have to cut it short because of the timing in this video.
Yeah.
But if you got anything else you want to drop, man, drop it on them real.
I just want to say, I enjoy and have enjoyed having these type of conversations with you. This is nothing new to me or you. I mean, we talk like this all the time.
Yep.
But I can't talk like this with just anybody. I know that. And I know a lot of people that's watching this video, I mean, they may want to have a conversation. They might not be fortunate enough to have anybody in their personal life that they can talk to on this level about certain things. And I would love it if everybody that's watching this video, if you made it this far, to ask questions in the comment, in the comment section, and give your opinion on certain things, and continue to build along with, Devil, you heard us talking about. Just give an opinion on it. Your opinion. What do you think about this stuff? I think it's interesting.
It's very
And with
interesting.
that, and that's it.
That's cool, man. And I agree with that. I'm gonna say one thing before we cut out. Again, I've been knowing this brother for many years now, and we've been building like this. Man, how long have we really been like building? What would be your estimate time of just really being aware? Because I mean, even as children, I mean, we were aware. But when do you think we really start like maturing and really talking about real, tangible things that, we could deal with like we do now?
Man, I think that we can't even put a time on it because we're continuing to grow and learn.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no cap on it. We know more now than we did last year.
Yeah.
And we knew more last year than we did the year before that. And depending on when we started talking, when did we start talking on the phone? Like at 9 years old, something like that?
Yeah, about 8 or 9 years old.
8 or 9?
Yeah.
I would say even then.
Yeah.
Depending on the show we were watching, the level of consciousness that we were on, we were still analyzing things, even if it wasn't on a super, super deep level. It was still on an intellectual level somewhat. We were still analyzing it and questioning it, and we may be laughing at it.
Yeah.
Because it didn't make sense to us. Even if we didn't understand it, we would still laugh at certain things. So I would say that from our very first conversation.
I agree with that.
From our very first conversation until now, and continue on forward.
And I agree with that. I agree with that.
We still got a lot to learn.
And I respect that too because, furthermore, we are students. We continue to learn. And like I say, I always say, I do consider myself as a teacher, but I'm a student first, and I will continue to be a student. And I'm pretty sure Brother Marcus feels the exact same way because right now, that's what we are doing. We are studious, but we like to give information as well. So I've seen his growth. He's seen my growth. Right now, I've just, come a little more forward with it as far as being public. That would probably be the only difference. But, between him and I mean, man, we like one really, But at the end of the day, knowledge is knowledge. Prepare yourself, grow, be patient, respect your temple, respect nature, get back to nature. And just know that, I'm not that guy that's all about that law stuff. You understand? I only use that as a tool of self-defense. That's why I do make videos like this just to show people that that's not what I'm all about. Even though I'm very versed in law, but I'm on this, I'm on the origin, I'm on the source, and that is nature. All right. So, Brother Marcus, man, I really appreciate you doing this video and letting the people know who you are and, your expertise, so to speak, and just, giving them, the time, man, to even just, show them our personal bills because this is something we don't really do. Actually, this is something we've been doing for many, many years, and we just wanted to share it with you guys. This is something we've been doing.
Yeah. Appreciate the kind words, man. I feel the exact same way that you do. And I enjoyed the conversation as well.
No doubt, man.
Maybe we can do it again sometime in the future.
Yeah,
depending on how the people receive it.
Oh, they're going to love it. They're going to love it, man. Trust me, I know they're going to love it, man. But until then, man, you take it easy, man. Keep it just like you've been doing, man. I'm going to keep it doing what I do. Y'all viewers, y'all tune in to the next one. Peace and love. Ashe. I'm out.
All right. Peace.
Peace.